The following lesson is linked to Learning Outcome 1, Listening and Speaking. It addresses the assessment standard that requires learners to explain how meaning may be distorted by the deliberate inclusion or exclusion of information. Learners should be able to interact in group discussions by expressing their own ideas and opinions and listening to and respecting those of others, while engaging with a range of issues such as inclusivity and power relations, and environmental, ethical, socio-cultural, and human rights issues. Hi, and welcome to today's lesson. As you saw in the introduction, sometimes things are not what they seem. What did you think you were looking at when the object first appeared? Did you guess correctly? Or did it take you quite a while to realize that you were looking at a bag? The reason why it was difficult to work out that it was a bag was that in the beginning you didn't have all the information that you needed to draw a conclusion. And we were showing you the object from an unusual perspective or point of view. This is similar to what happens to us in life. We sometimes only see one side of the story, or our own beliefs and prejudices affect our perspective or view about things. In today's lesson, we are going to see how our view is changed depending on what information we are given. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain how meaning may be changed or twisted depending on how information is included or excluded. It is often said that there are three versions of every story: your version, my version, and the truth. Here are two different versions of the same incident. See if you can spot the differences in how the same incident is described.
I was standing in my kitchen looking out the back window when I saw this young guy come over the wall. He looked so wild. I could see he had something in his hand, but when I looked closer, I saw it was a knife. And then I noticed that there was blood all over his shirt and his pants. He looked at me and he started coming towards me, and he was shouting something that I couldn't understand. I screamed and I ran away too quickly. I called the police and they arrested him while he was trying to get away.
Yesterday was such a bad day for me, and you won't believe it. I was staying with my aunt for a few days and I was really enjoying the sun in the backyard, and I was helping her cut some vegetables to prepare for supper. Next thing I knew, the wind blew the back door shut on me and I was locked out of the house, But anyway, I couldn't be worried because I knew she would be home very, very soon. But while I was cutting the pumpkin, the knife slipped and it cut me very badly on my arm. I tried to wipe it with my t-shirt, but I realized I would need some serious help. So I decided, let me jump over the wall. And as I did that, I saw a lady in the kitchen. And I shouted, "Hey, I've cut myself, please help." The next thing I knew, the cops were there and I got arrested. For what?
Can you see how the same incident can be seen from two very different perspectives? On the one hand, you can't really blame the woman for being afraid of a bleeding stranger jumping over her wall with a knife. But she made a judgment without getting all of the information. As for the man, well, understandably he was upset that instead of being concerned about his injury, his neighbor got him arrested. But he also should have seen how scared she must have been. Here's another scenario. Listen carefully to what information is included and what information is left out in each version of the story. Also see if you can work out what the people's reasons were for including or excluding certain pieces of information.
I'm telling you, Joe, my girlfriend is crazy. She broke up with me for no reason at all. She screamed and screamed at me, Hey, Joe, that woman, she's definitely gone mad. All of this is because I was playing soccer instead of being in our house.
Oh, well, I suppose he told you that I'm crazy and shouted at him for no reason. Well, let me tell you something. Yesterday wasn't just any other day. It was my sister's wedding. And really, I wouldn't have had a problem with him spending time with his friends any other day. But he arrived an hour late. We were supposed to be at the church at 9 o'clock. Everyone was waiting for him. My mother, my father, all the aunties and uncles. And it turns out they're all dirty from the soccer match. I really thought something was wrong. I thought he was in an accident or something. And it turns out he was just playing the fool with the other guys. Man!
Those versions of the same incident were totally different. Let's see if you were paying attention. What information did the boyfriend leave out of his version of the story? Why was this information omitted or left out? When we hear that the boyfriend was only an hour late, we may think the girlfriend was overreacting. However, our view of the situation changes once we are told about the wedding and other details that he deliberately did not mention, such as the fact that everyone was waiting for him, that he arrived in his dirty soccer clothes, and that his girlfriend thought he had been in an accident. Were you able to work out why the stories were different? The boyfriend may feel guilty about being late for the wedding. So he tells only the parts of the story that make it seem as if his girlfriend is unreasonable. He also wants to make it seem as if his girlfriend is overreacting to him just being late. The girlfriend's version places the blame all on the boyfriend. She tries to make out as if normally she would excuse him being late, but gives a series of reasons about why his being late on this day was unacceptable. Including or excluding information can totally change the way that we see things. But sometimes we have to exclude information that isn't important or relevant. To show you what I mean, I'm going to phone a friend of mine who really loves to give every single detail, whether it's important or not. Hi, how was your day?
Well, today I woke up at 6 minutes past 6 and I got up and made some tea for myself. Then I went to brush my teeth in the bathroom. I saw that there was a big spider in the bath, so I woke up my cousin to come and take it outside. Then I got dressed and I changed my mind 4 times about which shirt I wanted to wear. First I tried the red one, and then I tried the one with the stripes, and then I tried the orange one.
So, what made that conversation so boring? There was just too much information about things that really didn't matter. This example was obviously very exaggerated, but I hope it gets you thinking about the value of telling other people every single detail, whether it is relevant or not. Being able to judge what information is or isn't relevant is quite difficult and really does depend on the situation. We asked Karabo, a lawyer, to give us some more insight about how he works out what information is relevant. What are the circumstances in your job where you have to get information from people?
Oh, it happens all the time. You can, do investigations on your own, having to consult with police stations, having to consult with the government, different government agencies, different companies that specialize in a form of service that is relevant to your matter. Private companies, public companies.
How do you tell whether information is relevant or not?
Well, you basically do an analysis of the information. That which is relevant to your case, which is relevant to your client's version of events.
How can you tell when people are not exactly lying, but at the same time, they are not telling the whole truth?
Clients can get the impetus to give you a version of events that supports their version without mentioning a lot of things. This is where the probing questions come in and your instinct, your emotional intelligence.
Let's recap on the main points that Karabo made. Investigate the information. Do an analysis of the information. Ask probing questions. Your task for today is to play detective. We are going to repeat the two versions of the story that you heard earlier about the man who cut himself. As you listen to these two versions of the story, write down only the facts or important information.
I was standing in my kitchen looking out the back window when I saw this young guy come over the wall. He looked so wild. I could see he had something in his hand, but when I looked closer, I saw it was a knife. And then I noticed that there was blood all over his shirt and his pants. He looked at me and he started coming towards me. And he was shouting something that I couldn't understand. I screamed and I ran away too quickly. I called the police and they arrested him while he was trying to get away.
Yesterday was such a bad day for me, and you won't believe it. I was staying with my aunt for a few days and I was really enjoying the sun in the backyard, and I was helping her cut some vegetables to prepare for supper. Next thing I knew, the wind blew the back door shut on me and I was locked out of the house, But anyway, I couldn't be worried because I knew she would be home very, very soon. But while I was cutting the pumpkin, the knife slipped and it cut me very badly on my arm, I tried to wipe it with my t-shirt, but I realized I would need some serious help. So I decided, let me jump over the wall. And as I did that, I saw a lady in the kitchen. And I shouted, "Hey, I've cut myself, please help." The next thing I knew, the cops were there and I got arrested. For what?
I hope that today's lesson will be useful in helping you to work out what information to include and what to leave out, and how to work out how truthful someone's version of an event is by the details that are included. Until next time, take care.